Hey, hi, hello and good morning. Welcome back to Turkey. We're not in Istanbul anymore. We've made our way out to Ecevit, which is not far from Gallipoli. That's where we're going to be heading this afternoon. Just about to go and have lunch. We stay overnight and then we go to Troy tomorrow. Ah, beautiful spot. Nice big Turkish flag up on the cliff. Lovely. Really looking forward to this. Going to be super interesting both days. Oh, it's windy, so I'm not sure how much you can hear me. But man, this water hits this hard. Between big ones that come right up over this boardwalk. And of course it calms down again once I turn you on. There we go, that's a bigger one. Big Turkish flag up on the cliff. This is Ecevit. First stop on the Gallipoli tour, Brighton Beach.
Yep.
As we go throughout the day, we'll be focusing mainly on the Anzac side of things, which is really good. And so we'll be going around, we'll be learning about the Anzac side of things. We'll be going to Anzac Cove, all that sort of stuff, the memorials, the cemeteries, all of that. But we start here at Brighton Beach. That's our tour guide, Ibrahim. And you can just imagine people having to charge up these shores to
I found a way out. I found a way out. I never saw it coming.
Lone Pine Memorial here now. And all of these gravestones in front of us here did not actually die here. They died in the war, but not here at Lone Pine. It would have been on the ridges, etc. We've got the ones that died here, and on the far side, ones that are believed to have died. Not even like there won't be any bodies under the ones that are on the other side of that tree. And on those 4,000 names of people that we are believed to be dead, presumed dead. Crazy.
At the end of the cemetery, these soldiers buried under the headstone. Behind the pine tree, headstone symbolic. On the wall, names soldiers who have no graves. In this cemetery, while you walk around, on the wall and on some headstones, you may see this. Like twin, there is a word here. See? Third S. Jackson. Soldiers lying about their names. Any reason to be part of this big adventure. So, could be any reason, not just underage. If there was any reason, they wouldn't take them in. They were lying. Like for example, fathers and sons. They will put them in the same battalion. So fathers were lying, not to send their sons on their own. So, like, huh? Criminal record. Could be like the only son in the family, they wouldn't take them.
So these are all the bodies that were found. Just to correct myself, these are all the bodies that were found and placed in these graves. These ones were the ones that were found that believed to be buried in this cemetery. They couldn't really find the bodies. They wanted to commemorate them. Anyway, now the youngest ones, the youngest one here is 14 years old, which is more than a little bit insane. And then we go over to the walls over here. "4,000 names, probably more. pretty heavy here. New Zealand Medical Corps there, Māori contingent, Wellington, Otago. We only really care about that top lot, Canterbury Infantry Regiment. I joke, of course. There's certainly a feeling about the place which can't really be portrayed through a GoPro on my chest. Maybe slightly in my voice, but even that's not going to do it. It's not really going to tell you the feeling that I get or that exists in this place. To the ragged, bloody heroes who stood up to the test. There you go, that one there with the little wooden cross in front of it. Says he was 18, he was actually 14. Lance Corporal Harris. And I have this to say on another Anzac Day. I will not forget. We shall not forget. The greatest gift that's been given to me is that I live in a land that is so free. The freedom to the test. As we march through history, you leave to us your legacy. As we stand, may we bow and understand what it means to give your life for another man. These ragged, bloody heroes. Stop number 3, Johnson's Jolly. These are trenches. Now originally they were a bit deeper, but obviously over time things go into it, fall into it, comes back up. They're not re-digging them for a very good reason, in that there's just probably too many bodies left under the ground here, so they don't really want to be digging up old remains. Now this here was a goods tunnel that would bring, or supply tunnel that would bring supplies up through from the beaches up into the trenches for the officers. But it's pretty surreal walking where so many people gave their lives. Not willingly, of course, but so many people died trying to defend their country and their beliefs. And Ibo was just telling us that down through here they'd also plant underground mines, so a lot of these tunnels and such are for underground mines as well. So the battle wasn't just in the trenches, but also below them. And again, I'm not, and now it tells that this one was most likely a mine tunnel. And it annoys me that there's rubbish and dirt down there just from people not giving a shit, not respecting where they are. Yeah, and so that's where the Australian troops were. Not far on this side is where the Turkish troops were, so they weren't very far apart, maybe 20-ish meters. And now out of all of these graves just here, 27 headstones. This one's the only one whose body is definitely here and was found here. We're not sure about the other 26, which is kind of crazy in and of itself. Turkish trenches, which we do. Hand Grenade Alley, possibly. Just lobbing them at each other. And again, these would have been much deeper, but natural erosion and whatnot would have filled them in. Insane. I have to say the stops are not very far away from each other, which, to be honest, is not a bad thing, because you do stop quite regularly. There's about 9 stops in total on this tour, and you get 10, well, we've got 20 minutes of this stop because there's a fair bit to see. Got Dead Man's Ridge over here, and we're about to go and have a look at Schrapnel Valley from Dead Man's Ridge, and probably go and have a look at the stores and see if they've got magnets. Over there is the Turkish memorial for the Turkish soldiers of the 56th Infantry Battalion, and that's important because especially they got sent to their deaths. Every single one of them did die, to stop the Australians getting up to this point and up to Chunuk, which they succeeded in. These are Turkish trenches here. But Dead Man's Ridge is named as such because basically anyone who held it at any point, anybody who stood up here was going to die. And it probably wouldn't take that long. It was a very strategic point. There's the ridge, and that is the gully, Schrapnel Valley. I think you can figure out why it's named that. Here is the Turkish side. This is purely symbolic over here. None of the bodies are actually here. And it was only built in 1993, which is, yeah, that's a thing. It's only, what, 80 years after the war. Oof. Up on Chunuk Hill now, which is the ultimate objective. Rebuilt trenches here, and while they were redigging those trenches, found a lot of bones. 1985, all those bones are there in that mass grave, which is kind of nuts. But yeah, this was like the big objective for the Anzacs in World War I, was to capture this hill. New Zealanders did do it, but they could only hold it for 2 days, 3 days, because they were meant to get reinforcements. It never came because they did not know how to communicate properly and got all fucked up. So yeah, from the uttermost ends of the earth. Hell of a view. So this is Sula Bay, where most vital spots in the Gallipoli battles over here. And if you remove all these trees, you can definitely see why, because you can see everything. And I see them on the camera. Rach. Now, as spoken about before, New Zealand had about 1,000 people up on this hill, 1,000 to 1,300. These are all the bodies they couldn't find. And those 10 down there are the ones that they could. Canterbury, Otago, Wellington, Auckland up the other end. And the Māori contingent. Essentially flooding a white man's wall. Here we are now at Anzac Cove. Famous Anzac Cove. Imagine landing here and trying to get up, landing there and trying to get up here. Be a bit tough, wouldn't it? And here's the other part of Anzac Cove. Now all of these persons were believed to have died in the hospital. Well, on the other side, these ones maybe not. Believed to have died. Yeah, no, these ones are the same. So those turrets we saw at the start were actually built for World War II and never used. There is Anzac Cove where they all landed. Like I said, imagine trying to get up those hills with all the gear and water and supplies, etc, etc, etc. Crazy. So just around the corner on North Beach now, we're just out of Anzac Cove. It's on the other side of that headland there. This is where they hold the services for the Anzacs each Anzac Day, 25th of April. So Australians and New Zealanders will come and not even camp out here, they'll just sleep here on the grass, on the road, we've been told. And up at like 5 AM for dawn service. Then they walk to Lone Pine Memorial, which was the second place we visited. And then to Chunuk, or as we've been told is the correct pronunciation for Turkish, Chunuk. But yeah, out here has learned from our public ID bot that wounded people from the front line in Schrapnel. His name because he was actually trying to get back to England by carrying him back from the battlefront. Say goodbye to Gallipoli and Etchebet now. We also say goodbye for one night only to Europe as we head over to the Asian side of Turkey. Yeah, so we head over to a brand new continent in Asia. Oh, second time in Asia on this trip for me, I guess, after China. So, and we'll get there in about half an hour or so. And we will officially be in Asia for a bit. Onwards to Troy tomorrow.